All right, we're moving right along here in the first week of May. I've got to touch back on not what we reviewed. We're going to kind of take a different approach and rewind talking about this NBO stuff, this puke indicator, and rewind it in a way that'll help a lot of people, even if it's repetition to some. It's a different way to explain the same thing, and it'll be valuable for all. And we're going to talk about understanding order types to understand order flow. It's the title of today's session. And we've talking a lot about this indicator the last 3, 4, 5 weeks. It's up on the recording. What I like to do, though, to start these is to give people a sense of week to week. If you're in the trading room, you're on top of this. You're in the team room, you're on top of this. If you're just coming to these sessions, you should be filling in the blanks and coming to one or both rooms and become more, if you're also trading, to become so familiar, because times are changing rapidly. Because this whole coronavirus is an unprecedented event, the way in what we look at to trade it is unprecedented and changing and should not be a surprise. Sometimes comes out of left field. You don't know that would have been a driver. The financial scientists that I call them, the economists, they know less than the modelers for how many deaths they're going to be and how many cases they're going to be. So they're just unprecedented historical things we've done to get us here that are going to happen to get us out of here. What it looks like is week to week, month to month. If you lower fear, you could begin to grow. If you have fear, you're pretty much walking on eggshells until we can get to a place that's normal. And temporarily, it's not normal. So the markets are not normal. We go from volatile to kind of choppy volatile, back to volatile. What's driving us? How does that change? Late last week, it was Donald Trump being a little bit more direct to China with some specifics on tariffs as a way to penalize them, blaming them. Do you have many other countries, some blaming China? How does that go back and forth? When we had a trade war through much of 2019, tariffs were bad, no tariffs were good, trade deal good, no trade deal bad. That was with a great economy. Now we're doing it with a very uncertain economy. Why aren't we trading 3, 4, 500 points lower in the S&P and thousands of points lower in the Dow? Because of all the stimulus, all the central bank coordination. That is unprecedented. And they're trying to build these bridges over this roaring, rapid river to get businesses and employees to the other side. And I said this in the room, and I'll say it again. The landing to the other side, if this is the roaring rapids of the shutdown and the bridge of stimulus, $1,200 a month, the bridge of PPP to small businesses, the bridge of central bank, all kinds of things that novices don't realize they're doing to keep the dominoes from falling. All these bridges on the other side, trying to get people from prior to March till as we phase in now and through the summer. The problem is, and I said this in the room earlier, is this section are a bunch of hot coals that we're landing on because of fear. Walking around with masks, going to restaurants that can only fit half the amount of people, not going to movie theaters, not flying, all this stuff doesn't land us on normal footing. You're not off running out of the gate. Everybody is on their tippy toes trying to get to the cool grass where we can be normal and then see what kind of growth we could have from there. What gets us from hot coals to cool grass? Some knockout therapeutic drug, some vaccine sooner rather than later, clarity that the summer is tremendously lowering and eliminating the transmissions. And you guys could assume other things. What keeps us in this temporary normal isn't just fear that sticks around, but it's things that wouldn't have happened, such as where do we go with relationship to China? How does the rest of the world go with relationship to China? Does that impede on the world economy? Does it help us grow from a manufacturing standpoint because we incentivize businesses to build factories here and they create this infrastructure bill and there's just a renaissance of growth or building and manufacturing? Long term, we don't know how that looks. Short term, it creates a lot of whatever. So you can't just assume an economic Cold War with China is bad. Might be, but a lot of uncertainty to it. And then we got that thing called an election. So that keeps people tiptoeing. First things first, and I've said this from the beginning, we've traded the health of people before the wealth. We're trying to transition from health to wealth, and you got to get things addressed so we can get off the coals. First, we're on the coals, state by state, off the coals, which is, it doesn't have to be some sort of drug at first. It could just be the realization that, you know what? We're not spiking back up. There's no outbreak. The risk is never nobody's going to die from here on out. Nobody's not going to get it. That's not the risk. That's not the goal, rather. It's not a riskless thing here. It's just being responsible and trying to get the vulnerable people to be even more responsible and everybody else to exhale. And that just could take few weeks, few months. And I think the summer temperatures, I truly think that they knew the seasons and they built this river so that we landed as close to the country having summer temperatures. And I get it when people say, yeah, but in Singapore it's hot and in Africa it's warm and it's in nobody's saying that you can't transmit virus in warm temperatures. They're just saying it transmits less. That's all. And they've done studies now to say sunlight and heat and everything else. Shouldn't be to anybody's surprise. The flu season isn't in June for a reason. All right. So enough about an update as to where we're at from week to week. And let's get into this particular reading order flow. And I've kind of just started putting this together. And I was thinking of doing it for, publicly, but I wanted to do it first to you guys to kind of tie in everything with what we've been learning from this finding the stops and this puke idea or this puke tool and the subscription to it. And by the way, people that have done it are really liking it. Being able to see it all day long is something that's been a big advantage to people. Go through the recorded videos if you don't know much about what this tool is about. They're uploaded on the weekly coaching sessions. Go through them, look at them. Understanding order types, understand order flow. Now, this is basic, but that's where all the meat is. In this presentation, I added, because I do it to any presentation I might do publicly, picture of my family, me, my dad. You guys know, if you know how, you have a job, if you know why, you'll be the boss. But I added this with order types. Why it's important to understand order types is it starts to show the intentions of a trader. And that's the way I want you to view them. Now, you might think about that, say, of course it shows the intentions of traders, Anthony. But I want you to think deeper about it. All right? What do I mean by that? Well, let's start out with order types. There's basically two kinds, limit orders and market orders. Limit orders are passive and patient, and I left room underneath for me to draw. And I don't want to spend too much time on this, but limit orders are people who are patient and passive. They're going to let the market come to them. If it's a buy limit order, or if it's a sell limit order, you're waiting for the market to come down to fill you or go up to fill you on a sell limit. You're passive and patient, waiting for the market to come to you. Now, I don't want to get into the difference in too much detail of a stop market and a stop limit, because there's both stop market and a stop limit. A stop limit actually is a market order that doesn't get filled, turns into a limit. But a stop order by its very nature is a market order, okay? So we're going to leave that into this category, stops. But a buy limit is pretty simple because Buy and sell limits are pretty simple because, I'll get into this, I think, in a later slide. And that's the other thing. I might adjust these slides if I do it and do it again. I don't know what kind of order to go in. I'm just trying to be simplistic and have this fall into place. But let me change my domes here to sim, and I'll put these orders in. Hold on a second. Oh shoot, might lock me up. Let's give it a second to catch up. So for simplicity's sake, here we go. So for simplicity's sake, a buy limit is anywhere below the market, and you're patient because the market's up here, but I'll buy it down there. Sell limit, market's down here, but I'll sell it up here. Pretty easy to understand. You're patient, you're passive. Now, market orders are just the opposite. Market orders are someone who says, damn it, I want it now. It doesn't mean impatient is bad either. You use the word impatient, generally that's in a negative connotation, but being impatient isn't necessarily a bad thing. So when you're impatient and you need to buy it right now, whether you want to get long or cover a short, and I'm going to talk about that on the next slide, but a market order, you either are buying it on the at the market or you're selling it at the market. Okay? If I'm buying it at the market, I'm going to the offer, which just dropped to here and just went up to here. I'm going to wait and I'm going to put in a buy market order, which should automatically, what did that do? Yeah, which should automatically get you long. Let me open that up and show you your P&L. Okay. +2. We should all know you're long. Quantity is 2. That's why when I clicked, it automatically bought 2. But it's a buy market order. You've seen how I did it. All right. Now, a sell market order would be, hey, I'm not going to wait. That's a sell limit order. Pretty simple. I'm not going to wait. I got to get out. And I get out right there. All right. So I just did both. A buy market order, sell market order, sell limit order. And just keep it simple. Buy limit, sell limit, buy market, sell market. Sell market, you're impatient. You got to sell it now. I'm patient there. I want to sell at 89.25. Uh-oh. Trump just called Xi a blank hole. I want to sell it right now. And you probably want to sell it a few times aggressively, right? If you are looking to, Gilead just has a vaccine that's been tested, you're not only going to put in an aggressive buy market order, because what are you going to do if they came across the wire and said, Gilead and Abbott Laboratories work together, they have passed the final, surprising, FDA did it, they've tested it, they didn't want to tell anybody, but there's a vaccine. What are you going to do at that moment? Go like this and buy it down here? Is that what you're going to try to do? You're going to be, that's the time to be patient, or to be passive and patient? Hell no. You want to put buy market orders and splash it and go up in here and just buy as many as you can. If you know you're getting it before the spike, you want to be aggressive and you want to click and you want to see price to go up, and then you start peeling them off. But you would aggressively put in buy market orders and you would reach. What does it mean to reach? That means if I click here, I might get 88 halves or I might miss them. But if I click up here, I'll do no worse than getting 90 half. I might get 88 half. I might get 8, depending on how fast we're moving. But when you click up here, you'll do no worse than buying 90 halves. And that's in a big story, breaking news environment. And then if you miss the 90 halves, the buy market turns into what? A buy limit. Now that should be easy enough to understand. If you miss your buy market, it turns into a buy limit at the price you tried to put in the buy market order. Now let's get tricky here. And when I say tricky, I mean stop orders. Stop orders are not tricky. Everybody probably uses them, and most should use them. Stop orders are market orders that turn to limit orders if you miss it, or could stay market orders and just fill you to get you either in or out of a trade. But let's just talk, forget about what it's going to do to get us in or out. Let's just talk about a stop order. A stop order, and you have to know this like the back of your hand, is a buy stop order above or below the market. Real quick, buy stop orders, are they above or below the market? A for above, B for below. Answer that. Above or below? Now, if it takes you a while to think about that, you got to clean that up. Buy stops are always above. Sell stops are always below. It seems like you would know that, or you should know that. If it takes you too long to think about that, you want to clean that up. Buy stops are above the market. Sell stops are below the market. I'm long 22. What do I have to use to get out of this trade? A sell stop or a buy stop? I'm long 22 contracts. Do I have to use a sell stop or a buy stop to cover this trade if I had only those two choices? So that's easy, a sell stop, right? And sell stops are below the market. Where's the market? 88.5, 88.75. So a sell stop would be anywhere below. And let's say it's right there. That's kind of close, but it's 2 or 3 ticks below. Now, you should know that if 88 evens trade, this becomes a market order to try to sell 2 at 88 even. If it's a sell stop limit, it won't sell any worse than 88 even. It won't slip. If you never want to slip, put a sell stop limit. The problem is you'll miss a lot. A sell stop market means it's going to first try to sell 88s, then this one, then this one, then this one, and it could go down to as many as what you set that to. You could put a sell stop limit 10, which means it'll sell it no worse than 10 ticks lower than where you initially put it. But let's remove that. Let's just say sell stop market forever. It's got to get you to sell 88 evens, or if you slip 1 tick, 88.75s, 2 ticks, 88, 87.50, and so on. What makes a sell stop trigger? 88 evens trading. Now, when we were on the floor, you would shake your hand. Let's say 8, you were holding up the number for 8, which is a sideways 3. If you shook it when you were showing your customer, that means 88 or that price was trading. What does it mean here? That means someone, once it comes down there, sells one. That's all they have to do, sell one. I understand you can manipulate your stops to be, I don't want the sell stop to execute or trigger until 200 have traded. I don't want to get into those details. You could use those things. But technically speaking, as soon as 88 evens trade, this sell stop will get triggered, will get elected. So 88 quarters got to go offer. And if anything trades at 88 even, you'll see this get elected there. Probably just one traded, and they filled it at 88 even. And you see how I was long 22? Is that what I was long 22? Now I'm long 20. I'm going to put in another sell stop at 88 even, just for 2. Sell stops are below. My intention for using this sell stop is to cover a long position. I'll talk about that on the next slide. But market orders essentially are stop orders that could turn to limit orders, could stay market orders, but they're generally aggressive to either get into a trade or cover a trade. I aggressively want to cover this trade. If I start taking too much heat below a certain price, I just want out. That's why you generally want to use a sell stop market. Yeah, you'll slip sometimes, but if you want out, you want out. If you use a sell stop to get in a trade, you're saying to the world, I just want in. It's essentially a sell stop market to get in is like a sell market order. You're just having someone automatically do it for you. Now it triggered the 88s again, and now I'm only long 18. Let's bring this out so you guys could see it. Let's say we do another. And I'm not going to get into the functionality of your dome and how you have to click in order to put in a sell stop. You watch YouTube videos and do that. Everybody should be an expert at their dome. All right. Now, if you had an OCO, which means if this sell stop gets triggered, this sell limit gets pulled. I didn't connect them, but that's what an OCO is. If this sell stop gets filled, one order cancels the other order. This automatically will get canceled. Let's put it in there. As soon as that 87 quarter gets filled, like it did, this gets canceled. Starts to build on and show you how we could say on the puke indicator how a long just puked. I just puked a long, not the whole thing. But if we're trying to really work on OCOs, you could see how that came to life in this particular example, right? Those could be called bracket orders, sure. OCOs and bracket orders. And again, different platforms call them different things. I'm not here to be your expert in not your expert, but to be an expert in every dome out there. But when a bracket order, it just means they're connected, right? They're connected. Now, you could have this trade, which I still have 14 of them on. Why did I get on 14? Well, number one, to show an aggressive buy market example because of a potential headline that came out that they found a vaccine. All right. Wouldn't still be in this trade if it didn't rally right away. But the point is that you aggressively get in with a buy market order if a headline totally shocks the market bullish. You don't try to bid it down here when they just found a vaccine. Anybody who did that would have to get an appointment with Dr. Steve, really, to figure out what's wrong with you. Market's gone and probably is rallying a little bit or a lot before you hear the story, but it's still worth reaching and buying that particular story, right? And so being impatient isn't always bad, like I said earlier. Generally in life, when someone uses that word, it's in a negative connotation, but not necessarily in certain instances. You should be impatient and should be aggressive. All right. So I don't mean to be boring and oversimplistic with orders, but it's important to get a sense of we start to walk into my intention. Now I'm going to keep this up and I just want to change slides. I'm going to keep that position and I want to go to order types to enter and exit longs and shorts. And I did this by just asking simple questions. How do I enter a long? I showed you how I entered this long aggressively with a buy market order, right? What's another way to enter a long? A buy market or a buy limit? Or a buy stop? Correct? Buy market, buy limit, or a buy stop. The difference between a buy market and a stop buy, or the difference between a buy stop and a buy market order is you're letting the computer do the buy market for you. That's all. That's all. All right. You want to buy a breakout. You think 187 straight, it's going to fly higher. So you put in a buy stop to enter a position, of long. Or you think it's going to come down 82F. That's where you want to get long. You bid it below. So limit buy or buy market. Keep it simple. When someone asks me, well, you can technically get in with a buy stop. Yes, you can. And that's why I showed you. But it's a mechanical way to put in a buy market order. And then someone might say, well, how about a buy limit order? And what's the difference? I don't want to get into that granularity of the buy market limit, buy market, buy stop limit, buy stop market plus 10. Those are things you should know, but you should understand them like the back of your hand. A buy stop limit, which would mean I'm trying to buy it at 87. If I miss it, it'll turn into a limit at 87. It will not buy me anything else. A buy stop on a market will fill me anywhere. A buy stop on a market with 10 will only fill me no worse than 10 ticks from where I initially put it. I don't want to go over and over that again and again. Now look at this. Long 14 from an average of 88, call it 3/4. And you don't have a stop in. This is where a lot of people get caught. They don't have an exit strategy. And if you don't have an exit strategy, you end up having the real inclination to add. If you don't know where you're going to get out before you get in, then you're going to tend to add. It's always, and it should always be, and I don't want to get off on a tangent, it should always be, why am I getting in? Well, I'm getting in because I think it's going to go up. Why? Because news just came out. Great. Did the news rally us? Well, no. Well, then why are you still into it, right? It's actually showing you the opposite. Now, I showed you, for example, to buy this thing aggressively because a vaccine might have been found. This market would not have done this, obviously, if a vaccine was found. So let's just stay on point here. How do I enter along? We covered it, right? How do I, shoot, I lost my, my dome. How do I exit or cover along? Let's get back to business here. How do I enter along? We cover it. How do I exit? Exit and cover mean the same thing, by the way. Start getting used to that. Exiting and covering a position. Same thing, different word. So how do you exit along? Well, you got to sell it. You either got to sell it with a sell limit, a sell market, which I just did, and now I'm only long 12, a sell limit, which means, yeah, I'm willing to sell it if it goes 86.5, or a sell stop, which would be below the market. So I'm long, you could see it, plus 12. I'm exiting it with a sell market. Now I'm only long 10. Or if it fills me here, let's offer it there. You could put in a sell limit that, boom, gets filled right away because it was trading. Now I'm only long 6. Now putting sell limits in there. The point is, a lot of people won't answer these questions as easy as you guys will. And I'm going slow. If it's boring, that's good. I want this to be boring and slow. I really do. How do I exit or cover along? Sell limit, sell stop, sell market. All right. Let me put in. Now that's a sell limit. Why? Because it's limited at that price. Finally, it filled. That's a sell market. I went to the bid, aggressively sold it. That would be a sell limit. I'm patiently waiting at 87.25. I say, BS, just sell it now. I put in a sell market at 86. It covered my long position. down 50, 49 and a half handles though. Now let's go to the next question. How do I enter a short? Wow, this is boring. How do you enter a short? Well, I could be patient and offer above with a sell limit. I could be playing a breakout with a sell market below the market. I think it's going to go fast when it gets 84.5 to the downside. Or I could say to hell with it, I'm going to sell right now. So I entered a short 3 different ways. If you do it right now, you should be short, correct? You should be short. That's how you enter a short. Now, very simple. How do I cover a short? Remember, cover and exit mean the same thing. How do I cover a short? Do it patiently with a buy limit. You could do it with a buy stop above where you got in or above the market, doesn't matter. Or you could do it aggressively right now with a buy market, which I just clicked, did flatten the position. I was short and I covered both times. Well, that time with a buy market. This might sound rudimentary and elementary. Guess what? People cannot answer these questions quickly and in a rapid fire. They would screw it up. Let me even speed it up quickly. This will confuse people. If you're short, are you looking for a bid or offer to get out? Takes you a while to think about it. If you're short, you're looking for a bid or an offer to get out. No, if you're short, you're a buyer. If you're a buyer, you're looking for sellers. You're not looking for a bid to get out. Are you looking, and I'll say it again, if you're looking to get out, you're looking for sellers. Hold on a second. If you're short, are you looking for buyers or sellers to get out? You're looking for sellers. If you're long, are you looking for bids or offers? You're a seller, you're looking for buyers. Now, don't get into trying to make that super understandable. Eventually, it'll sink in or make sense. The point is, if you're a buyer, you're looking for sellers. If you're a seller, you're looking for buyers. That's what you need to get out. It's confusing. It's supposed to be confusing, but that's what we're here for. Because conventional wisdom gets you mixed up. So just answering these questions, you know the orders that you would use, that we would use to enter a long, to exit a long, to enter a short, to cover a short. Enter, exit, enter, exit. Next slide. Now this tall, skinny fellow is a long. This short, more sideways fellow is a short. When I created these pictures, I wanted to create the image. But these are positions. Start looking and understanding these words as people's positions. Okay? Don't look at them as what they had to do to get long or short. It's a definition of their position. All right? If they're buying on a limit or a buy stop or going to do a buy, then they're buyers. But if they're long or short right now, that's their position. All right? What order type do they have to use to get in? And we covered that on the previous slide. Most people think conventional wisdom is that. No, to get in that position, and I did this illustration last week and it clicked for people. When you're long the order type that now to get out, to get yourself, because on the next slide, I talk about order type to enter. But when you're long to get out, you now are a seller. When you're short, you're now a buyer. The order type to get yourself out. And we went over those. Now, on this slide, I added this column. What's the order type to enter along? Well, we went over it. A buy market, a buy limit, and a buy stop. BS. So now that gets you long, and now you become a seller to get the hell out. Don't take this progression for granted. After you buy it, you're a seller. In the middle, you are defined as a long. So you're a buyer already before you're a long. You're a long, and now as you progress through this, if someone gets long, they have to sell. They get long, they have to sell. They get long, they have to sell. Do you see all these cells stacking up? Long stack, sell stack. Long stack, sell stack. Now just understand this for a second. If you have to buy it to get long, and you have to buy it to get long, and he has to buy it to get long, and he has to buy it to get long, and the damn thing doesn't go up or is struggling going up, if indeed the buying is opening up long positions, then it's creating sell orders, which is what puts pressure on a market and now helps us read it better as we try to search to say, are they buying it to get long or buying it to cover a short? Well, we don't always know, but if there's buying going on and that price cannot go up, and indeed they're buying to get long, then they're putting sell orders in. Now there's even a higher probability will go down. Now, we don't know always when a big buy order comes in, is he opening up a long position or is he covering a short position? Remember on the previous slide, you could use a buy order to do both, open a long, cover a short. I'd like to know if it's a big buy order to open a long, because now I know there's a sell order above. Buying that can't make price go up, it's still important. But boy, it would be more probable that if it's this progression, buyer, long, now a seller, down. When buying cannot make price go up. That's what we constantly work on. When buying cannot make price go up. Let me see what I have on the next slide, John. Hold on. Well, forget about if you want to bid or offer. How do you get your someone who's long is already long? How did they get long? Did they buy it? They could have bought it with a limit order. They could have bought it with a market order. They could have bought it with a buy stop. But they're long. So what are they now? They're sellers. Well, we just went over. How could you sell it? Sell market. That happens right now. Sell limit above. Those are the ones that would keep pressure on a market. Or sell stop below. Right? So they're long from right there. The sell market, that's what you're going to do at the moment you want to sell it and cover that position. But your sell limit is above and your sell stop is below. And generally, these two orders are connected, if indeed they're related to this position. Order type for order flow. Order type is always assigned to one's position. So we're trying to find the relationships constantly in order to read flow better and predict the next 2 ticks, 2 points, 10 points. Let's start from the beginning. And this might be simple for some guys, might not be for others. Don't feel bad if it doesn't seem simple. Don't feel great if it does seem simple. Ask yourself this. I got a gun to your head and I say, I want you to get long. What kind of order do you have to use? Buy limit, buy market, or I could do it on a stop, sir. Well, I don't want to buy it now. I want to buy it in like below. Well, that would be a buy limit. All right, put it in. All right. What price? 79.75. Yeah, that's where I want to buy it. What are my other options to get long? Well, you're bidding it right now. We could bid it lower or higher, or we could just buy it right now. How would I buy it right now? Well, be a buy market order. Where would I get filled? Right now, 82. Right now, 82.25. Well, you just told me 82. I said, well, markets move. Buy it right now. Oh, shoot. All right, I did 82.25. That was a buy market order. So I bid to buy it for this lunatic. And then he wanted just to get in. And so we did it with a buy market. What if I want to buy more? Well, we could do it with a buy limit. We could do it right now and buy it. What if I think it's going to go up after 84's trade? Well, then we do it with a buy market. So we're long, but this is adding to getting longer. Now the guy says, well, what do I do to get out of this position? I want to cover it. Well, we offer it with a sell limit, which I'm doing now at 84.75. We could sell it with a sell market right now, or we could put in a sell stop below. Put in a sell stop below at 80.50. Okay. So now here's the position long. Here's the sell limit offer resting above at 84.75. And here's the sell stop below 80.50. So we used the buy market to get in, and we're using a sell limit or a sell market to get out. That has to make a lot of sense, because if you're going to read a market, you got to know and be able to flow through this pretty quickly. I just bought it. You know what happens when you get long. The same thing that I just did. Some people have the automatic orders go in right away to sell, and many of you do. There's nothing wrong with it. And then you adjust it accordingly. But everybody, after they buy it, generally has to sell it. Now, not everyone. I get there's exceptions of people buying it for different reasons, and people buying here and they want to buy it here and they want to buy it here, and they're not going to necessarily sell it right away. But from day traders' perspective, and we're trying to follow this herd of people who think they know what they're doing and they don't, where are their positions opened, and what does that mean? And that means that they're sellers after they're long. So if you're struggling with this, just set it up 1, 2, 3. Order type to get in, what position to get you in, and then what's the order type to get out. Don't ask me what the best ones are to get in and get out. That's not part of this. Nobody's asking it, but that's not part of this session. It's just that progression. Order type to get in, buy market, and buy limit. Forget about the buy stop limits to get in for now. Yeah, that's a way to open a position. I don't think a lot of people use that. I'm not against it. I'm just saying, keep it simple. Order type to get in is you're going to do it aggressively with a buy market or buy limit. To get long, buy market, buy limit. To get out of a long, sell market, sell limit. And then put these orders in the book. Put these orders in the book. In a sim, this is how you work sim. You don't trade sim to make money. Mostly, if you do it for a little bit, fine. If you're trading sim too long, it's just not what the micros along. It's not. There's not an excuse to trade sim for a very long time. This is the way that you use sim, just to practice the whole progression of understanding your dome and getting to be a master at it, and then you'll understand how other people are using it. And now you'll know what the right questions to ask, because that'll get you to the right answers. Instead, everybody looks for the right answers. What's the right question? Why is it that when a lot of buying happens aggressively and the market doesn't go up, we're bearish? Because there's a chance that you created a lot of long positions with that buying, and now they're all sellers. Well, Anthony, how about when the longs puke? Well, when the longs puke, they're no longer sellers, are they? Now you get less longs equal less selling, right? This is how great tools are created. Less longs equal less sellers. Less sellers absolutely make it easier for price to go up. Do you see why price might not want to go up right now if there's a lot of these? Because there's a lot of these. Just the notion, just think about this for a second. Just the notion of, I've got, let's say I really had a sell stop at 80.50. How do you think I feel every time it went my way, feel good, come my way? I'm a seller, right? If I'm a seller and every time it goes down, I get anxious, there might come a point, guys, where I just say, screw it. I'll just sell it there. Or let me put it here so you can see better. I just sell it there. Screw it. It went down. I'll just sell it there. You're getting anxious, right? Just sell. And all of a sudden, if there's a lot of sell market orders, That's what drives them down, and why they become magnets. Why they would become magnets if there's not just yours, but if there's a lot. A lot of people are thinking what I was just walking through. Every time it goes down, I'll just sell a little bit lower. Ah, shoot, it's down there. I'm willing to sell it there. You know what I mean? What is that doing? It's putting pressure on the market, and it'll eventually drive it into these sell stops, if indeed there's a lot of sell stops here. Here, let's do that. Watch this. Let's get real long. There's a lot of people long this market, okay? We did it with buy market orders. We did it with a buy market order. We're long 22 contracts, which means every time you're long, you have to put in sell orders. And there's 22 sell orders because of these 22 long positions. But there's a bunch of sell stops. Why am I putting them at different prices? Because I'm not assuming this is just me. It's just a lot of people long. It's not just me. So now I'm putting all these orders in. For a moment there, I thought to make sure I was in sim. And for a second, I'd be like, it'd be good if I maybe wasn't. But you're putting all these sell stops in there, right? So if these are deemed to be a lot of longs, okay, you see all the selling pressure I put on the market. And if this is, in fact, a lot of long positions compared to sell positions, do you see how the balance, how the weight would drive it down into the sell market orders? And then once these orders were triggered, it would drive it into some more, and then you just got a self-fulfilling prophecy. And it all stems from a lot of longs. This isn't just me. This is, let's say, a lot of people that are long. Lots of longs. I think that, given not saying anything, giving people time to think, the weight, just use that word, the weight of all these sell orders drive price to sell stops. And then this is what I mean by self-fulfilling prophecy. And then once you start getting into some sell stops, what are sell stops doing? Selling. They're sell markets, right? So you start getting into some, it helps get into some. Oh, there's some more. There's more. That's when you really get the sweep. You get a couple more, couple more, couple more, couple more, and then wham, you slide through them. So the weight of all the sell orders drive in to all the sell stops, which are the reason for both. They're connected because there's a lot more longs maybe in the market than there were short. And then once all these stops are elected, you start pulling a lot of these sell orders. Less stops, less sells above, and the whole notion of a puke. Make sense? You start removing all these sell orders, there's less weight above. Why did the sell orders get removed? Because the position got stopped out. Less longs, less sellers. Now let's say real quick, this is something you have to work on. It's an exercise. What I'm going to say next. I'm short 4. If someone said to me, buy it right now, I wouldn't think about putting bids down here, and I wouldn't think about putting a bid there. I would put a bid really quick on the offer and just buy the damn thing. Oh, you overbought it. What do you got to do? Look for a bid or an offer to get out real quick. You got to look for a bid. Why? Because you're long and you're a seller looking for buyers, and hit it. Get yourself long. All right. What do you have to do to get out? You got to sell it. All right. Put a sell limit at 82. Someone's telling you, put a sell limit at 82. Hit the bid. And someone's telling you these things. So now you're able to just work your way around a dome. And that's the way you put yourself in a position to avoid mechanical errors when you actually have money on the line. And someone who says they put in a buy market order because they found a vaccine and they do this, oh, shoot. They went to buy it and they sold it. Not only did they not get long, but the market's probably going to pick them off and get them short because they put in resting offers instead of buy markets. Well, that's just dumb. They deserve. If they went to buy it and they did that, that's because they never did an exercise to get good at their dome. There's just no way in the world if someone came to me and said they just found a vaccine right now that I wouldn't be doing this. Go right to the blue to buy it. Why? Because it's bullish and I want to get long, and I want to get long right now. And then as the market went up, I would be just, depending on how many I was long, peeling some off, locking in a really good profit, right? Let's say it was spiking 5 handles, 6 handles. You sell a couple more, and then you kind of look back and think about where it could go and where it could pull back and how bullish it is and things like that. Is it going to stay bullish? And well, what would you do, Anthony? Put sell limit orders, whatever? Both. Sell limits, sell, markets to get out depending on how the market rallied. Remember, you got in because of some giant shock and surprise. But there'd be no way that I would hear a vaccine. They have a vaccine for sure. And let's just say you knew it was for sure that I would be putting orders in there. But there are a lot of people that would do that and make a mistake. Or they would bid it down here. Oh, I'm going to try to buy it. Why are you buying it there? They found a vaccine. You might get filled here in August. I'm not creating those scenarios. That's what you got to create. I created that. There's a video. Go look at the videos. That's all those exercises are there. You gotta spell out different scenarios and then practice. I did a video on it. You can see it walking up like this and walking up faster. And let's say you had this many on, and then you were just hitting it, spraying some sell markets in there, putting some sell limits up there. You know what you are, you know what you want to do to get out. And it's just the ability to practice. And someone says, do this, lower that, get in here. It's not, guess what? It's not sexy and it's not something that is fun, but every professional athlete does things called practice that are broken into drills. If you go into course number 4, some of the exercise videos, course 4, I think it's the first lesson. There's a whole slew of videos of exercises. A couple of them have scenarios to run out and practice and do and get good at. Maybe record put a tape recorder on your phone, record what someone's telling you to do, and the next day listen to it and see how fast you are doing it. Any questions? Hey, there he is. That means slides are over. This is like the weave, man. I forgot about that. That's funny. The weave in basketball, and you have three guys that are passing and crossing and passing and crossing. Seems like it would be complicated, and it is at first until once you get it, it's easy. Like I said this a long time ago when I put those exercises together that, if you don't master your dome and do these exercises to master your dome, you're just not starting the way you should start. You're not starting the way you should start. That's why the very first slew of lessons in course 4 are exercises. You just get good at putting in numbers, get good at knowing that someone could beat on you, telling you do this, do that, do this, do this, and you're doing it without any kind of hesitation. And you're not screwing it up. That's how you could kind of like stimulate emotion. Someone's yelling at you. Now you're emotional when you're losing money and the market's moving along. Have someone yell at you, getting in and out, and all you're doing is trying to get yourself better at dealing with duress, and that's it. And just dealing with being under the gun, which is what it feels like a lot when you're up or down money in a trade. But now you're going to minimize, maybe eliminate any mechanical errors. Buy it when you want to sell it. Buy it aggressively when you wanted to buy it, patiently and passively, or vice versa. And then what you understand without even trying is this whole premise of long, I'm now trying to sell it. Sell limit, sell market. It's just second nature. I get it. When I'm long, I'm a buyer looking for sellers. Sellers are people who are offering. Then it'd be quick. What do you need to get out of a long? Bids or offers? If I ask that question to an audience, most people would get it wrong. And it's confusing. It ain't easy. You got to think it through. And I give them time to think it through. But if you're long, you're a seller. If you're a seller, you're looking for buyers. Buyers are bids, 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 bids. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, walk yourself through it. Order types to understand positions, exits, and ultimately order flow. I'm going to stop the recording.